Good morning, and we are in chapter 34. Moses used tables of stone. Now remember, he broke the other ones, and so, what is the Lord gonna give in return? And the Lord said unto Moses, Hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and I will write upon these tables the words that were on the first tables, which thou breakest. And be ready in the morning to come in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present thyself unto me in the top of the mount. And now that sounds like, okay, just going to give the 10 Commandments again. But look at the Joseph Smith translation here, in the footnotes. And the Lord said unto Moses, Hew thee 2 other tablets of stone like unto the first, and I will write upon them also the words of the law, according as they were written at the first on the tables which thou breakest. But it shall not be according to the first, for I will take away the priesthood out of their midst. Therefore, thy holy order, my holy order, and the ordinances thereof shall not go before them, for my presence shall not go up in their midst, lest I destroy them. But I will give unto them the law as at first, but it shall be after the law of a carnal commandment. For I have sworn in my wrath that they shall not enter into my presence into my rest in the days of my pilgrimage. Therefore, do as I have commanded thee, and be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present thyself there to me in the top of the mountain. You see there that the thing that is missing is the instruction and the things dealing with the higher priesthood, the priesthood that he wanted to give them, that the Lord could be in their midst at all times. That he wanted everybody to be like him, being able to see the Lord, and they couldn't do that, as we find several times in here, that they held him much higher than they themselves. Yet he's saying each one of them could have seen and heard the Lord. In the right-hand side, we also have this. What blessing did Israelites lose because of their disobedience? I think we described that quite well here, and this was also something that we talked about yesterday, about the loss of the priesthood. So you can read that again if you wish. No man shall come up with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the flocks nor the herds feed before that mount. They're well versed in this. Last time, it was a while before he went up in the mount, and they made sure it was fenced off. People were not going up there, and nobody was on the mountain. This is like overnight. Nobody goes there. And they should know that, so it seems like it goes without a hitch in that way. He hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and Moses rose up early in the morning and went unto the Mount Sinai, as the Lord had commanded him, and took in his hand 2 tables of stone. And the Lord descended in the cloud, and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of the Lord. And the Lord passed by before him, and proclaimed, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering. Look at this description. He describes himself, and abundant in the goodness of God, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that by no means clear the guilty. And we've got a few footnotes here. But who, meaning, well, he's not just, he's a merciful God, but he's also a God that has laws and order as well. And we discuss that many times in the Gospels when it talks about being merciful and just, and declare the guilty, or those that are rebellious, those that will not follow the Lord, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the third and fourth generation. And Moses made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshipped. And he said, If now I have found grace in thy sight, O Lord, let my Lord, I pray thee, go amongst us, for it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thine inheritance. And he said, Behold, I make a covenant before thy people. I will do marvels such as not been seen in all the earth. Notice he says, I will do. And I think he's not just talking about Moses' age, but throughout the whole of Israel's as a nation, the things that they've done, how they'll be able to go back. We've probably seen some marvels in our time, and also some horrible things, but the Lord is always there leading them in different ways. How he answered their prayers during many of the other periods of their time as Israel. Nor in any nation, and all the people among which thou art shall see the work of the Lord, for it is a terrible thing. Something, I don't think it means a terrible, like, oh, that's horrible. It's more, this is such an amazing thing. It will make you want to tremble and fall to your knees. I will do with thee. Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite. So he's going to drive them out for them. Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee. But ye shall destroy their altars, and break their images, and cut down their groves. That's basically places that they worship, the groves, or their idols. Cut down those false idols that they worship. And thou shalt worship no other God, for I, the Lord, am a jealous God. I read that totally wrong, because I was thinking of the Ten Commandments. For the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Now, we do have a thing on here, because that is a weird word for us nowadays, jealous. That's usually something you give to somebody that doesn't like someone else being with someone. While speaking about the second commandment, which forbids the worship of idols, President Oaks taught, More than merely forbidding physical idols, this states that a fundamental priority for all time. Jehovah explains, "For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, showing mercy unto them that love me and keep my commandments." The meaning of jealous is revealing. Its Hebrew origin means possessing sensitive and deep feelings. The footnote, thus we offend God when we serve other gods, when we have their first priorities. So he loves these people, and yet if they turn against him, serving another god, they're not following him. And remember, when he talks about jealous God, he's the one that did all of the things to get them out of Egypt, and then they go and make a calf or something to follow as a god, and the golden calf did nothing. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. He's letting them know why he's doing this. And thou take their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a whoring after the gods, leaving the one that they should be following. And thou shalt make thee no molten gods. And the feast of the unleavened bread shalt thou keep. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and I command thee in the time of the month, for in the month of Abib thou comest out of Egypt. Do it when the feast time is. All that open the matrix is mine, and every firstling among the cattle, whether ox or sheep that is male. But the firstling of the ass thou shalt redeem with the lamb, and if thou redeem him not, then shalt thou break his neck. All the firstborn of the sons thou shalt redeem, and none shall appear before me empty. 6 days thou shalt work, but on the 7th day thou shalt rest. In the airing time and in harvest thou shalt rest. In other words, when they're supposed to harvest, that's what airing, just meaning they're collecting in. Is the time for them to get their wheat and things in. And thou shalt observe the feast of weeks, and the first fruits of wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end. Basically, remember what the Lord has blessed them with. Thrice a year shalt thou all your men and children appear before the Lord, the God of Israel, and I will cast out the nations before thee, and enlarge thy borders. Neither shall any man desire thy land. When thou shalt go up to appear before the Lord thy God thrice in a year, thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven, neither shalt thou sacrifice the feast of the Passover. Shall the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover be left until the morning? You do it that night, and a lot of symbolism there as well. I hope you can see Christ in all this as well. What is he saying? He's saying, put me first, and when you do these feasts, remember me. And the first of the fruits and thy land and of thy land shalt bring unto the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seethe a kid. And remember, when we talk about seethe, it means don't, cook it any other, boil it. That's what it means. A kid in his own mother's milk. It's kind of being very technical here, but for them it is also, in this context, a fertility rite. They're saying, don't do that. That's kind of worshiping another god in itself. And the Lord said unto Moses, write thou these words, for after these tenor of words, meaning after this manner, the way that you've written this, I have made a covenant with thee and Israel. And he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. So he spent another 40 days and 40 nights. So this is 80 days he's spent in the presence of the Lord. The first 80 days, the people were going, oh, he's not coming down. We'll just get on with our life and we'll make up our own rules. But the second 40 days, it seems that they learned their lesson. And look what happens. He neither eat bread nor drink water. And he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 Commandments. So during that time he had no bread nor water. The only way people know that is he told them that. But it's interesting that the Lord sustained him during that time. You could live 40 days without food, but water you'd need. And it came to pass that when Moses came down, and does that sound familiar? Who else spent 40 days in the wilderness fasting? Of course, Jesus did. And you see this parallel with Jesus here. And also Jesus paralleling this. And it came to pass that Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tables of testimony in Moses' hand. And when he came down from the mount, that Moses wist not that the skin of his face shone. He didn't know that his face shone like while he talked with him. In other words, he comes down and he's just glowing. And Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moses, and behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh to him. And Moses called unto them, and Aaron and all the leaders of the congregation, or rulers of the congregation, returned unto him, and Moses talked with them. Maybe he looked like he's some spirit or something. They're worried about that. And afterward all the children of Israel came nigh, and he gave them in commandment all the Lord had spoken with him in the Mount Sinai. Until Moses had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. Yet this is a bit distracting, so I will veil my face. And when the Lord went before the Lord to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spake unto the children of Israel, which he was commanded. It doesn't mention it here, but I'm picturing him, because it says he came out, that this was in the tabernacle, that he was going in and out. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, that the skin of Moses' face shone, and Moses put the veil upon his face again until he went to speak with him.